Hello and welcome to Visiting Dugout. I am Crystal O'Keefe. We are once again back with the other Sox team. I've got my wonderful friend Ed Hand on today. We're going to get kind of weird with it today since these teams did just play and we're in silly, goofy moods. So, hello, Ed. Please.
Hi, I just want to start with a complaint here. You bamboozled me.
I've been
I
booed.
was bamboozled. I was
Okay.
led astray because you told me that these White Sox just are the worst team imaginable. It wasn't just you, to be fair. It
Everybody.
was a lot of people told me that these are just the worst White Sox ever. And they kicked the crap out of the Red Sox last week. They won, I think it was 11-1. They had a walk-off win in the second game, and then they probably should have won the second game 1-0. They just couldn't get out Trevor Story for whatever reason, and Garrett Crochet decided to go on his revenge tour. Man, that he really hates the White Sox. That was my main takeaway. He really, really hates the White Sox. Like, he did not want them to get anything off them, and it took. You're welcome, by the way, because your best player is like the third prospect you got in the in the trade for him, Chase Meidroth, who I think I told you right after they traded for him. I was so upset because
Yeah.
he's a stud. He's a stud that gets overlooked by everybody. But there's a reason his nickname in AAA was the Force Field. There's a reason they called him the Quad Father, also, because he has nothing but quality at bats. Listen, he might top out at like 10 home runs a year, but this dude has legitimately has a shot at winning a batting title. He's like if Luis Ariz looked like a dude named Booger, because that is what he looks like. He looks like a side character from like a 1980s R-rated teen sex romp, whose real name is like Carlton or something, but he goes by Booger.
Yeah.
That's what my draft. Sorry, I could go on about. He was my favorite prospect for the Red Sox, and I'm just really happy because he didn't have a. Red Sox are fine with Kristen Campbell at second base. He didn't really have a spot here, but I wanted him to, and I'm glad that he's going to be the centerpiece in that lineup for a while. I think.
You're not kidding. He's our all-star now.
He's really good. The guy, every at bat the guy has is a quality at bat. He's not very big. He's not going to hit home runs, but he's going to have a ton of walks. He's not going to strike out. He's going to put the ball in play, and he's going to hit more doubles, I think, than people expect. The defense is good. He can play second and third. Those are. I was very surprised to see him at shortstop. Not because I've never seen him there before. It's just of the three, it's his weakest position. I think second. I think he is an above average defensive second baseman. Third base. Oh, it's more. His arm isn't the worst one that I've ever seen, but it's just not. You don't feel great about him at third, but second base you can feel pretty good about him.
Well, our team is just filled with utility players at this point. Like, we've got people playing first base that don't belong at first base.
I like that 12-year-old you have in right field. That's like
Brooks
that's like an
Baldwin?
infielder. I actually like Baldwin. Yeah, he blasted through the minors last year, like kind of out of nowhere. And I know he's been kind of like a mixed bag so far, but I kind of like guys like that.
He looks exactly like my son, who is a freshman in high school. So much that even my son will now say, "Oh, it's my twin."
Are you sure? Have you seen him? Have you seen the two of them in the same room together?
I haven't. I guess so. I'm going to take Hayden to my son. I'm going to take him to at least a game or two this season. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Baldwin is in and Hayden has been in the bathroom for 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, interesting.
Or if he's just mysteriously not playing that day.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm just saying until that happens, I'm not ruling out any possibilities here.
I want to look and see how old he is because I'm probably old
I
enough to
want to
be
say
his
23
mom.
or 24. He just came through the. I know this because he's my starting shortstop in an APA league because he was really bad last year and unlimited, and it's a pain in the ass to get good shortstops in this league. So he was the best one available.
Okay, I'm not quite old enough to be his mom. He was born in the year 2000, so that would have put me in 8th grade. So I'm not old enough, but
it's shocking to me that you were in 8th grade in the year. Like you look younger than me.
Thank you. I just got my 20th anniversary class reunion flyer
Oh wow.
recently. So I
Were you
am,
where were you, class of 05?
I was.
I was class of 07, but I was a little young for the grade. My wife was class of 06, so we're all in that bubble there. But I should have been class of 08. But like the way that the age stuff worked because I moved in kindergarten was weird.
I should have been '06 based on age. I was one of the youngest in my class, but
Yeah.
they basically made me take some tests to determine if I was smart or not, and I was smart enough.
Yeah,
It's
I wasn't emotionally mature enough. I mean, hindsight being 2020, I really wish they would have pushed it back a year. I think that would have benefited everybody. I did not have the most enjoyable high school years just because of and like a lot of people are like, oh, like I got bullied or whatever. It wasn't really that bad for that stuff. It was just like I was not. I was very much still a kid. Like and
Mhm.
like I was really like as far as like emotional maturity goes, like a year behind everybody else. So like
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I get that. Um, so let's talk about this last series first
Okay. Yeah, I
and
mean I always
how
feel like I'm bullying you when we talk about the White Sox, so I'm fine with
I
that.
know
Like
I get
some
to bully you
a
now.
little bit, yeah, because the Red Sox have looked like shit for the last
Um,
10 days.
what what's going on? And I know Connor Wong has been injured, and maybe that is a very serious thing that they're dealing with right now.
He broke his little finger. It got hit by a
Hmm.
swing. So they have Carlos Narvaez, who is a rookie, and Blake Sable, who
Yep.
is the worst defensive catcher I have
Yeah.
ever seen.
So neither one of them can catch.
Narvaez is okay defensively. Like he didn't have a great series, but
Yeah.
he's like we've seen him do things that are good defensively. Narvaez looked like he was on not Narvaez. Sable looked like he was on edibles the entire game.
It
Like
was
his at
very bad.
bats were wonky. He
Uh-huh.
couldn't throw. There were like two catchers interference plays. Um, yeah, they have your boy Seti Zavala in AAA,
Yeah.
but he's not on the 40 man. So they just brought in another former White Sox, Yasmani Grandal, on a minor league contract. So those guys are in AAA right now. I don't know what the plan is as far as bringing them up to the majors, but I'm not really a big Sable guy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really hoping that he is not long for this team. And I feel bad saying that
No,
because like I'm not rooting for the failure of anybody, and I actually don't think he's that bad of a hitter, but he's just defensively like he's awful, man. He's really rough. He struggles to catch things. He doesn't call a good game. He has a terrible arm. Like you guys were running wild off of him.
mm-hmm.
And it was, some guys like, okay, it's a bad game, but at least like the throws were on point. They weren't even on point. They weren't close. Guys were practically walking there. Like Luis Robert had one of the worst jumps I've ever seen in that game that they wanted, and that might have, I don't know, was that off Narvaez? I don't know, but it was rough. It was
Yeah.
just a really rough defensive series. And again, if it wasn't for Garrett Crochet and Trevor Story, that would have been a sweep.
Yeah. So what and then this is funny. So I had talked to Bailey. She had messaged me initially about Yasmani Grandal. She broke that news to me, and I was like, well, good luck, Charlie, on that one. Um, but she was like, I think it was our defense, or no, what did she say? I'll have to pull it. She basically something to the effect of, Sox offense is such fucking shit right now. I'll take anyone getting on base.
He is good at drawing walks, Grendel. Like I'll
He
grant
is.
him that. And he runs into the occasional home run. I think if I remember correctly, he's like a very good framer, isn't he?
Yes.
But not much of an arm, but okay. Like obviously they don't seem to care very much about that. They did have Reese McGuire there for like 3 years, so
It's true.
like
But
maybe that's not a big concern.
no one was really hitting either. So what on earth is going on? And I mean, they just got decimated by what, the Rays?
Yeah, I think they lost. I believe it was 17-1. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't watch yesterday. I'm on my final semester of graduate school. Had a kid a month ago.
All these
And we're moving
excuses.
on Saturday, so my free time is not the most existent. So I got home from work at 7:30. I took a look at the score of the game and decided, you know what? I'm not going to watch this one. They're down 5-0 at this point. I have other things I really need to get done. So, I monitored it and I watched a lot of people get really angry on Twitter, as one
Mhm.
does. And I didn't really watch it, but I can tell you that Tanner Houck hasn't looked great all season. He was the pitcher. And the offense has they got 18 runs on national television a week ago against the Cardinals, and they've just been kind of dead ever since.
Yeah.
Trevor Story's basically been the only guy that's hitting, and Christian Campbell. It's really those two, and like this is the thing, and this is where I have to take a step back because it's easy to forget. It's still April 15th. We're
Yeah.
like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks into the season, and if they're 8-10,
Mhm.
that's if they went through an 8-10 stretch in July or August, no one's batting an eye at it. But it's our first exposure to them, and we've seen them go on a 4-game losing streak. We've seen them go on a 5-game winning streak, and now we're seeing them on another losing streak. One portion of which was against, no offense, a team that is universally not considered very good, and then they lose 17-1 to a division rival.
Yeah.
Red Sox fans are passionate, and they have the memory of goldfish. So if something just happened, they're going to be really fixated on it.
Mhm.
In this case, it's Tristan Cassis taking a long time to get going. This happened his rookie year in 2023, where he was just barely playable for the month. He wasn't even really playable for the month of April, but as soon as the calendar turned to May, he started getting a little better. By the end of the season, I think he ended up finishing third in rookie of the year votes. So,
Mhm.
guys like stuff like that, people are just forgetting that happened already. Or that Jaron Duran is slumping miserably after having a 9+ WAR season last year.
Yeah.
Rafi Devers hasn't been Rafi Devers since they moved him to off of third base to DH. Hilariously, they're leading baseball in errors, which, hey, that could have happened too if we had just started Rafi at third. I'm pretty sure they would be leading the league in errors there. Also, it's a lot of sloppiness.
Mhm.
It's sort of hard to explain exactly where that all manifests from. I really don't know because they were terrible defensively last year too. Their only really good defensive player last year was basically Willier Abreu, and Duran and Abreu. Their outfielders have been fine. It's just like you would think that having Alex Bregman, who won a Gold Glove last year, and Trevor Story, who would have been in the conversation if he didn't spend most of the season hurt, as the left side of your infield, you would think that would drop the errors a little bit, but they've been pretty bad at it. They're just playing sloppy. They seem distracted. And sometimes things just spiral. Like you have a bad couple of days, the weather's crappy, you don't want to be there particularly, and then you start to press. You lose a couple of games, and you really start to press. Like it happens. It happens every year. It happens a few times for every team, even good ones. But that doesn't make it any less frustrating when it's happening. And when it's April 15th, you don't know, is this what they are? We
Yeah.
don't really know what any of these teams are until Memorial Day. So people are pissed off, and they're going to be. And, if you're like me with this, where you've been watching for I don't know, 20 plus years, and you have a kid that is up all night and you're tired all the time, you're not really getting as up and down about it. You're just kind of like, oh, I would like them to stop playing like ass. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Um Again, we are, like I said, we're going fast and loose. So now I'm all over the place with questions. We're going to take
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
quick break and come back. And I don't know, what do we have to look forward to for this next series?
Hell yeah, man.
All right. Welcome back. So the Red Sox lost 2 of 3 to the White Sox somehow. Ed explains most of it. They're, the Red Sox were kind of just playing like doo doo, and the White Sox got really lucky.
I
Um,
listen, you don't win 11-1 by getting lucky. They earned that one. I think maybe
it did earn
maybe
that.
I think Richard Fitz getting hurt midway through that second start, and like I think that kind of threw off their rhythm a little bit because he was just mowing guys down. He looked
Mhm.
good, and he also looks kind of like Biff from Back to the Future, which I find funny, especially because Biff's son, the actor who played him, Tom Wilson's kid, is a minor league baseball player, I believe, in the Mets
Is he
system.
really?
Yeah, yeah. Also, super nice. Tom Wilson, super nice guy in real life, apparently.
Oh,
But that is
hmm.
who Richard Fitz physically resembles.
No, I can see that. I can see that completely. So we saw Garrett Crochet. I don't think we will see him again. Maybe Lucas Giolito. Have you heard any updates on what's going on with
He's
him?
he was listed to be rehabbing in Double A,
Hmm.
and I don't. I think. Listen, we're recording this on 4/15.
Yeah,
They
we're
switched
early.
him with I think Connolly Early, who's a lefty prospect, decent pitcher, but I don't know what the plan is with Giolito right now. He's on the IL with he like hurt his hamstring or something, and I don't really know when he's coming back right now. He's pitched a couple of games in AAA. They've got Bray and Bayo rehabbing down there too right now. I might be Bayo that gets Bayo might be making his return in this series. I'm not 100% on that. I think for his last rehab start is going to be Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. So he might be pitching the Monday game, which that's the day you guys get to witness the joy of a Patriots Day game at 11 a.m. my time. I think that's is. Are you guys on Eastern time or are you guys on Central
So
time in
Chicago is
Chicago?
Central Time.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah,
So
10
you get
a.m.
10 a.m. Awesome.
This is where you should luck out because I'm sure you remember a few years ago with Lucas Giolito on the White Sox still starting a Patriots Day game. He is not a morning person. He is not a morning pitcher. Got shellacked.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
think
mean
they pulled him
that
within the
throws a
first
lot of
inning.
people out of their routine. So I mean, I like Giolito. He seems like a very decent guy. And he was very consistent for a while before the
Mhm.
Tommy John, but he has to get on the mound. That's the big thing here. He has to get healthy, and he's starting to reach that age when health isn't really guaranteed. And I'm hoping that the contract doesn't end up just being a pit, but we haven't really seen it yet. So I guess I don't know what's going on with him today with his rehab start. Maybe it's they just wanted to do it a different day, and he'll pitch tomorrow and then we'll have him back in a couple of weeks. I don't think you guys are getting him this series, though. It is funny to me how many former Red Sox are with the White Sox now, though.
It's funny looking. I mean, and same with the Angels. It seemed like there were a ton of former White Sox when we faced the Angels first. It's just like they're all over the place.
Timmy Anderson, I'm glad he somehow is still in the majors
Yeah,
despite completely forgetting how to hit.
yeah. And Yohan Moncada, same thing. He
Yeah, yeah.
really took a turn for the worse, and then he's back up again. So good for him. But so okay, so we probably won't see Lucas, and it's really kind of early still to tell what pitching is going to look like. But how are you feeling about Red Sox pitching as a whole?
I mean, Crochet's a monster. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I like that he physically resembles if Leatherface and Jason Voorhees had a kid. Like that's awesome. Just really hard to hit, and he's like Chris Sale but bigger
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Thicker. He's a thick Chris
Yeah, he's
Sale.
thick boy Chris Sale. Whereas
Mhm.
Chris Sale was like the most like I'm pretty sure I outweigh Chris Sale, and he has like a full foot of height on me.
Mhm.
But like he had that like bike injury. I'm pretty sure the wind just blew on him while he was biking and he went flying off of it. Like that's
Yeah.
what happened there. No offense to Sale, love the guy,
No,
but
love
he
him,
was
but
very strong. I envy his metabolism. Let me put it that way. Um, I mean, the rest of the rotation, they have a lot of depth for middle of the rotation guys. I think Hauk is a little bit concerning right now. I don't know if he's tipping his pitches or
mhm.
just pitching hurt or what's going on with him, but he hasn't really been good since the All-Star break last year. Bueller's been a mixed bag. He's going tonight. We'll see how he does against the Rays. The velocity hasn't really come back, but he looked good at his previous start. I forget who it was against. I want to say it was the No, it wasn't the Cardinals. I It's all kind of a blur right now, but he didn't look bad in his last start, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. Oh, it was the Blue Jays. It was the Blue Jays, and they lost. I think they
Mhm.
lost that one. Oh no, they did. That was the one that they won against the Blue Jays. They lost 3 of 4 against them. Jeez, they have. It has been a rough week for them. That's for sure. I mean, Fitz was good. He had the injury turned out to be a strained pectoral, which is kind of the best case scenario, but they still lose him for a bit.
Yeah.
They brought up my former Rookie of the Year, Michael Fulmer. I don't know if the plan is for him to start or not. He pitched in relief in that blowout and didn't look great. They've got Sean Newcomb up. The less we talk about Sean Newcomb, the better. He should be on the White Sox just because he's also from Massachusetts. So he should be part of that group, your Massachusetts pitching
Yeah.
staff. Friggin'
Mhm.
4 starters there. Just make it a clean 5. Just make it all. Just call them the Boston Tea Party, you know? He kind of sucks.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I think you like that was the guy that the White Sox scored like 11 runs or whatever it was off of. Not great. Less than ideal. But Bayo's coming back, so that I do think Bayo's a pretty good pitcher. I like him. They've got Cutter Crawford. I don't even know if he started his rehab yet. They do have one guy that I really like in AAA who made a spot start against the Cardinals, Hunter Dobbins, and did quite well there. And I like Dobbins quite a bit. I've been following him since they drafted him in 2022 out of Texas Tech. And he's one of these guys that his dad was a minor league pitcher and he didn't make it to the majors, but he ended up coaching for a while, including with the Rays, and runs his own pitching lab now. And Hunter kind of just grew up watching all of this and really just eating, sleeping, and breathing in baseball and pitching. So he's aside from being like having just very good stuff, he's very, very smart. He really understands, I guess, like the art form and the science behind it.
Mhm.
So I like dudes like that. He's a little on the he's like 6'2", but not as thick as some of these other guys that you want. But he'll still get up to 99 on his fastball when he's coming out of the pen. He's sitting more 95. Has a few pitches. He has a splinter that's really good. He had like 7 pitches in the minors, and it seems like he's refined that arsenal down a little bit. That's a guy that I'm hoping to see get a little more run. I do think he's a very good pitcher who's going to surprise some people if they give him that opportunity. I like him a lot more than Sean Newcomb. I can't
Mhm.
emphasize enough how much I dislike Sean Newcomb pitching out of the starting rotation. I'm fine with
I
it. I'm fine
I
with him as a
like
long reliever. Like that's cool. If you're gonna have him as your mop up man, human victory cigar, cool. I'd rather a lefty than a righty with that. But it's when you're leading the league in errors, you don't want to have a guy that pitches to contact in your rotation. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm. I personally love him and think you guys should keep him.
What if
Seems
they're playing a team in your division that isn't the White Sox? Should they be doing that?
I mean, I don't think the White Sox are gonna win the division.
Who's your least
So,
favorite team out of like in the Central? Like who do you
hmm,
hate?
I think I have to say the Twins are the team I hate the most in the division.
They start
Um,
Sean Newcomb against the Twins.
yeah. Um, don't don't put him though against the Tigers because I think the Tigers might have a very realistic chance of running away with the division.
Okay,
Um,
that's
but I
good to
like
know.
the Tigers. That's the thing. Like I like the Tigers, but I
They're
think
fun, right?
yeah, they're fun. But I think that they might actually be able to take this division this year because the Twins are kind of bottom barrel in the basement with the White Sox right now. So they're not really a threat
Yeah,
in my
what the heck
opinion.
happened there? They really like imploded in a hurry, didn't they?
They did. Yeah. I mean, they won 2 against the White Sox, but they that very first game, they looked so bad. And I mean, they've continued to look really bad. So it's kind of insane that this is where their season is.
I mean, small sample size. See where this is what I was talking about before. Like until Memorial Day, we don't know who any of these guys
Mhm.
like really are. But it is kind of funny that they've been kind of just continuing to play like garbage.
Yeah, I'm all for it, personally. So, as far as hitters are concerned, because we just talked about how there's been a lot of slumping. Who is going to get hot soon? Who's gonna hit
Oh boy,
home
that's a
runs?
good question. I mean, I'd like to say that some combination of Jaron Duran, Tristan Cassis, Sadon Rafael, or Rafael Devers, and like Alex Bregman. One of those guys is going to really go. I guess Bregman's been pretty good. He was player of the week at one point, so I guess he's been pretty good. But I'd really like to believe that one of the guys that I mentioned there is going to go off. William Abreu's been pretty good. Trevor Story he hasn't been walking at all, but he's at least getting hits and stealing a ton of bases. Cassis and Devers really need to get going, though. Campbell's been good. I don't see any reason to think he's not gonna stay hot. That's my bet for Rookie of the Year this year. That'd be cool. Also, sweetest kid in the world, Christian
That's what
Campbell.
I hear. Bailey had nothing but nice things to say about him.
Did Bailey tell you about how wholesome he is, though?
Yeah.
That he didn't know that the team gets its own plane, and that he didn't know that he didn't have a roommate in the majors.
He's adorable. Like when I was listening to her talk about him, I was like, I love this kid. I just want to give him a hug, and I don't like to hug anybody.
Just genuinely sweet guy. I got to talk to him a couple of times in the White Sox, the AAA team, their clubhouse, and I was really taken aback by how genuine he is. Like, a lot of the time, these guys, there's a little bit of an edge on them. He was just very laid back, just very much, like we had a conversation because he went to Georgia Tech, and we had a conversation about engineering, and he was talking like his girlfriend is like an aeronautical engineer, which, first of all, that tells me that he's a smart dude, because somebody that smart isn't going to date an idiot.
No.
And we were just talking about that because my dad's an engineer, and we were talking about like the hierarchy of engineers, and it was just, it was just like you're just having a conversation with the dude. Not all players are really able to do that. I think they sometimes take media as adversarial, and which in Boston, by the way, very understandable.
Yeah.
I think I'm technically media, and I hate the media here, so I get it.
Boston and New York media, they're a nightmare.
Yeah, no, it's East Coasters are dicks, man. Like, we're just memes. Like, it's more about trying to get clicks than it is actually reporting. It drives me nuts. But I really enjoyed talking to him. That was my one disappointment with him making the team out of spring training was that I didn't get to check in with him. Or anything, but I'm super happy. Like, it couldn't have happened. It's one of those things where couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Really excited to see what he does. Glad he got the extension. Love Christian Campbell. I would say if you're just a fan of baseball and you're watching this, keep an eye out for him, because he's the real deal. He might not even be the best guy in the system. Roman Anthony hits the ball really, really hard. But you know what Roman Anthony calls Christian Campbell?
What?
Calls him Barry Bonds.
Okay, yeah.
All the minor leaguers call Christian Campbell Barry Bonds in the Red Sox system because of how good he is. Like, it's not an ironic Barry Bonds name. Like, he's impressive. He's really impressive.
I have put him kind of in my category. He currently sits alongside like the Ellie De La Cruz of like wholesome, but also really, really good.
Oh yeah, that's another wholesome guy. I love Ellie.
Yeah.
He might be a better pure hitter than Ellie. Like, not as much power, not as much base stealing. But Campbell hits the ball. It's so interesting. I could talk about him all day, because when they drafted him, he was a 4th-round compensation pick out of Georgia Tech. The comp pick was from Xander Bogaerts, and when they got him, he was this high contact, no power guy who had only ever played shortstop. And they took him into the system and basically said, "Here's what we're going to do. We want you to swing harder, and we want you to sacrifice some of that contact for power. And we're going to see what happens." And as it turned out, he was able to. He has a kind of a glitchy swing, like very Hunter Pence-ish, where he has incredibly powerful hip control that allows him to commit early but still pull out of his swings. And his hand-eye coordination, I haven't really seen anybody like this since Mookie Betts, and I'm not comping him to Mookie as like the player. I'm just saying his hand-eye coordination is next level. It is freakish that he can have a swing like that and so consistently. Like the Rangers commentators thought he was overmatched. This is just what his swing is. This is just the way that he plays, and you can look at his numbers. He walks plenty. He'll strike out too, but everybody strikes out. He walks plenty. This is something that works for him. But this program they put him on, he just shot through the minors. He went through 3 levels last year. He was the last one called up of they called them the Big Three. It was the Big Four because they still had Kyle Teal at the time, who's now with the White Sox.
Yeah.
He was the last one that got called up to AAA from that group. There's a reason he was the first one in the majors. He's that good.
Yeah, I wonder how soon the White Sox will actually get to see Kyle Teal. I would love it if he was up sooner rather than later, especially now that Corey Lee is injured. We don't really
I
know
like
the
Teal.
people.
Yeah, I like Teal quite a bit. He's one of these guys that if he didn't play catcher, he'd be kind of mediocre. But because he plays catcher and is a good defensive catcher, he's good. He's considered like an upper echelon hitter for that position. Like if he was like like a shortstop or a first baseman or something, nobody would really bat an eye at him. But to be able to he's projected, I think at what, like a 270, 20 home run guy in the majors. Like that's awesome out of your catcher. He's a good defensive catcher.
Yeah, I'm kind of ready for that.
He's a DJ.
No, I didn't know.
He goes by DJ Bass Monkey.
Oh, I was hoping that he would do something more with his last name.
Teal.
Just because of like the color.
Oh, like wear a lot of teal. I mean, I don't think there's any reason he can't do that. But no, he goes by DJ Bass Monkey. He brings all of his DJing equipment. He's an absolute baseball rat. Like he's like he like eats, breathes, and sleeps it. Like you guys got some good ones with that trade between him and Meidroth. Braden Montgomery didn't really get to see it all last year, but very good, very talented player. Even Wickelman, I think he's probably better used as a reliever, but that's a decent pitcher. I think the only reason he went over to the Red Sox were willing to give him up was because he had that 40-man roster spot. So, hey, we're gonna have to cut someone anyway to get Crochet over here.
Yeah. So, with this series, if we had to go with what our small sample size that we've seen and how these two teams played their last meeting, so take into that last series into account and then kind of where the Red Sox are right now. Again, they just got destroyed by the Rays.
Well, here's the thing. They did get destroyed by the Rays last night, but there are still 2 more games left in this series, and I don't want them to win the next 2, and we say they just got destroyed by the Rays. I don't know if they're going to get destroyed by the Rays or not. Maybe the Rays, like the Red Sox when they won, they scored 18 against the Cardinals and then scored like 4 runs for the next week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're just blowing it all in the first game. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I don't feel good about how the Red Sox are playing right now. I'm going to say that the White Sox, they seal the deal. They finish what they started and they sweep their asses this series. Wow. 4 straight. That's all what I think is happening here. This is going to be the beginning of the White Sox triumphant rise to the top of the AL Central. Tarek Skubal is about to become Chase Meidroth's bitch. That is what is going to happen here.
That documentary is going to be so
it's going to be nuts when you see 5'8" Meidroth performing a suplex on like 6'7" Tarek Skubal in the middle of the mound mid-game during a brawl. It's going to be crazy, but that's what's going to happen here. Meidroth for MVP. The campaign starts here as he eviscerates his former team that so brutally traded him just as he was about to enter his prime.
Maybe it's fate that it's been 20 years since the World Series and they are very much doing every single thing they can to celebrate 20 years since that World Series, because otherwise they can't really get a lot of people in seats.
Oh, I'm gonna step this up even more. You know how they're gonna get people into the seats?
Oh boy,
this is gonna be crazy. This might get me canceled. They are going to sacrifice Mike Clevenger to Joe Boo. That is what they are going to do. They're going to make that sacrifice.
We're all Clevenger haters. Oh, that was
but I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail for threatening somebody's life. It's just, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. They have to wake up the bats,
Mm-hmm.
And what's better than a chicken? A human sacrifice.
No, I get it. I love that idea. We just very recently showed my son that movie. We thought, you're almost 15.
My parents showed me that when I was like 8.
I know. I watched it way too young, But
Have
we
you
had
seen the censored version of it where instead, like where he's like, I only got one thing to say to you, strike that motherfucker out, and they change it to strike that guy out. And it just is like it's one of the funnier or
yeah.
like the instead of like I think they changed it to like up your butt Jobu or something like that. Like
Mhm.
it's a very fun censored version.
Well, we were talking about recently, he was like, I want to get into shape and baseball. And we were like, baseball's not really the sport that you actually like
No,
get
no.
into shape with.
No,
And
baseball's a sport that you can have human refrigerators like Daniel
yep.
Vogelbach and Alejandro
Mhm.
Kirk be dominant in.
Yeah, and we were like, especially pitching, because he likes to pitch. And I was like, pitchers are notoriously not the healthiest. Like, let's kind of, and I'm like naming off these pitchers, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's finally time that we watch Major League, and you're gonna see what their old veteran pitcher was like, and that there was like
Roland
smoking and drinking
Morris.
in the dugout. Um,
I love that movie so much. That's
yeah,
not just my favorite. I think that and Remember the Titans are my two favorite sports movies, and those are also two of my favorite movies,
yeah.
period. Like
Um,
I love Major League. I absolutely love it. Like that is the best baseball movie. Like no offense, Kevin Costner, you've done an okay job with that Field of Dreams and all that, but
yeah,
Major League is a better baseball movie.
Major
Field
League
of
is
Dreams is more about like your uncomfortable relationship with your father and wanting to get one last opportunity to make it right with him. Major League is actually just about baseball,
it is,
so
and
it's
it's
a better
hilarious.
baseball movie. I don't know. Like I'm actually not like this is kind of a tangent, but I don't think there are that many good baseball movies out there. I really don't. I
There
don't
aren't,
think I don't like what was the last good baseball movie that came out 42? That was like over a decade ago.
and by the way, have your Jackie Robinson Day.
Yes.
42, yeah, that's a little old, and it was good.
It was
I
fine. I I always feel a little bad saying this, but like I don't find Jackie Robinson. I've heard the story so many times at this point and read like seen so much on it that I'm not that interested in it anymore. Really good. I read a really good graphic novel biography of Roberto Clemente that
mm,
I highly recommend everybody read. Oh my god, we just packed up the house, but just look up graphic novel Roberto
I'll find
Clemente.
it.
It's phenomenal. It is
Um,
absolutely phenomenal.
Speaking of him, have you seen the controversy with the Pirates? And
Oh, whether the Pirates did something stupid? Yes, I
yeah.
did. I did see that. I think that I actually, if there's any organization that I believe just genuinely forgot that they had the Roberto Clemente number there, it is the Pirates. Like I love Pirates fans, by the way.
Yeah,
I
I
think that they do a really there's shout out to Gary Morgan. Those guys do a really good job over. I think he's the locked in host now for the Pirates.
mhm.
And their fan base is remarkably loyal, given that their team does not spend any money on them and attempts to shit on them at every passing opportunity.
Yeah.
I would love for the Pirates to be good. I love Andrew McCutcheon. That's a great entertaining player. I think Paul
Mhm.
Skeens is one of
Awesome.
these. Paul Skeens is a once in a generation pitcher. Like we're not going to see another Paul Skeens for another 40, 50 years probably. Like it's really going to suck when he inevitably gets traded to the Yankees. Like I'm going to hate that, but until that happens, like I'm a big Skeens fan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like that's the Pirates are like we're all in agreement on this. The Pirates are basically the Yankees minor league system for pitchers,
Yeah.
right? Jarrett Cole, I think Jamison Talion came from there. Not Chris Archer. Like they've had some other guys pitch through there though before. We all know that that's where this is heading. It's not going to be the Dodgers for Skeens. It's going to be
Even
the
Kutch was
Yankees.
on the Yankees at one point.
Oh yeah, they made him chop his dreads off. That
Yeah,
sucked.
and I cried. I opened
That
and
was a
sobbed.
dick move on their part. You know what's a fever dream though? Kutch playing for the Giants. Remember when that
Yes.
happened?
I was in DC for something, and I wanted to go to their ballpark, and they were playing the Giants, and it was when Kutch was there, and he had a home run in that game, and I was like, he did that because he knows that I'm at this game watching him.
I I love Kutch. I love his devotion to furries because
Mhm.
he had a good game during a furry convention.
That's my
Like
Twitter background.
that's one of my favorite. I think I learned that from you
You
actually, but
probably did.
that is genuinely one of the funny. I love his baseball card where he looks like a 70s porn star. Like
Yeah.
that was really great. Like I love everything about that guy. I never want him to retire.
Mm-mm.
I would love
Yeah.
the Pirates to be good. They're kind of like the White Sox in some ways, though, because
Like,
their organization simply hates their fans.
I think that their organization is like a money laundering scheme.
It might be. They also continually hire like really problematic players, like
Mhm.
Domingo Germán. Which, listen, I can't talk with that with the Red Sox signing Aroldis Chapman, but at least Chapman's good. Like, what the heck was the excuse for signing Domingo Germán? Like, what was that? Like, did you
Yeah.
just want to bring in somebody that like gets drunk in mid game and has to be restrained in a sauna by his teammates? Like, what the fuck was up with that move? I didn't forget.
Yeah. So we've moved over. Obviously, we know how this series is going to play out in your brain.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So baseball in general. Who do you have winning it all? How are you feeling?
White Sox.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
White
'Cause
Sox are winning it all.
20 years.
Yeah, no, this is. I told you this is the beginning of Chase Meidroth's reign of terror.
I love it.
They're basing that new Avengers movie, Doomsday. That's
Uh-huh.
the crossover event. He's about to become Doctor Doom. Go rip shit
Yeah.
on the entire league. That's your next 400 hitter right there.
Okay. Perfect.
But like, other than the White Sox, if a team other than them were to win it, I mean, it's kind of hard to bet against the Dodgers, right? Like
Yeah.
they're pretty awesome. It seems like every time they get one of their guys gets hurt, they just replace him with another
Like
absolute stud.
respawn something. Yeah.
I mean, I don't. The AL kind of sucks, other than the White Sox, obviously. There isn't really anybody. I guess the Tigers are kind of interesting. Like they've got a good rotation. They've got some pretty good players. I don't know if they have that thump though. I don't know if they have enough to like even the Guardian. The Guardians seem like they always manage to like muster up for a starting pitchers out of nowhere. They're getting Shane Bieber back, so
Mhm.
they'll probably do something. They'll probably make some noise. Jose Ramirez is is an absolute demon. Um, the Mets, you never know what's going to happen with them. Um, I'm trying to think if there are any other teams. I mean, the Giants and the Padres got off to pretty good starts too. I don't. I think that the Padres are going to slow down.
Yeah.
But the Giants might be better than people. People underestimate the Giants a lot, but
I agree.
they've got some kind of freakishly good talent on that team. Like not enough people talk about Logan Webb and the fact that he's consistently chewing up 200 innings every season and pitching like an actual honest to god workhorse there. And Jung Ho, have you seen what Jung Ho Lee's been doing?
Yeah, they've all been. I mean, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Giants right now. And as someone who has previously been a Giants fan in the time of the beautiful Tim Lincecum and Buster Posey,
I thought you
I'm
were going to say in the time of cholera.
yeah, it's also in the time of
That's how
cholera.
long it feels like it's been that long since they've been relevant. But they have the second most World Series this century
Yeah,
behind the Yankee, beside the Red yeah, behind the Red Sox.
but yeah, I'm ready for people to talk about the Giants again. Ready. Ready for Tim to narrate their World Series DVD. So my last question for you before we sign off on our silly goofy episode, how do you feel about Dylan Cease's new look?
I don't know anything about Dylan Cease's. Paint me a picture with your words, Crystal.
Well, he had this very bushy beard that could have maybe homed some birds, some
Oh, that's
local
neat.
species,
I like a
and
nice bird.
now he is clean shaven and has a little bit of a baby face.
Oh, so
And
he wants to sign with the Yankees next year too. I get it. I
yeah,
get it.
so he wants to be a Yankee, even though
Yeah,
that
that seems no.
policy,
Well, you could have a well groomed beard now if you're a
yeah,
Yankee.
you can. That policy is not as big of a deal anymore. But are you pro bearded Dylan Cease, or do you think that
Look at me. Of course, I'm pro beard.
I was very sad when he shaved it personally.
Yeah, no, I mean, I always support beards just because, listen, this isn't. I don't grow a beard because I necessarily want to. It's a mix of two things. The first is that shaving is a pain in the ass to
Hmm.
do it every day.
Hmm.
And the second is that I look a lot better with a beard.
You
So
don't
the
want to
more
look
people that also
pre-pubescent?
have beards, the better it is for me.
Yeah.
And I am nothing if not self-interested. So
Yeah.
yeah, like
Cool. Grow
let's
beard.
go. Grow that beard back, buddy, please.
Yes. All right. Well, it's been fun. Just as a reminder, please do not ask for women's phone numbers on a broadcast.
Oh, dude, before I just want to say, like, that was fucking weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's I always say, and I feel like this is sort of where I am with this. Like, I don't trust anybody that identifies themselves as a male feminist or anything like that. It's kind of a like thou doth protest too much thing for
Yes.
me. But if you're paying any attention to it, holy shit, is it hard being a woman in sports? Like, and now you have to have like a guy, like you have to have something like that where you're just acting like who is this for? Who is
Yeah.
the like, not even just like is this appropriate or not? It's just not good television. Like who is this for?
As someone who was harassed online for 3 whole days by a former Major League Baseball player just for writing an article about a domestic violence issue in Major League Baseball, I feel like I have a lot of thoughts on this matter. Women do get the shit end of the stick in this, and had those roles been reversed, they would be slut shaming that woman. So very disappointed. I mean, and naturally, it's an Atlanta thing, and they were praising and egging this man on as if the Braves organization is not already problematic enough. So, yeah, don't do that on the broadcast, please. Take a page from Steve Gelbs, who is an angel on the Mets. Take a page from his book. Have your side quests be interesting, where you're like dressed as a hot dog or a Minnesota Viking very recently. And don't ask for women's phone numbers on a broadcast, please.
One last thing here, and this is objectively not related, but I just want to follow up on that Lucas Giolito thing.
Oh
It
yeah.
was a mistake. He is still pitching today, so he is rehabbing with the Double A Portland Sea Dogs today, and maybe we will get him back for the series. I don't know. We'll see.
I would love to see him. I do miss Lucas a little bit.
That's a
So
guy with a good beard.
yeah, this guy with good beard. He's good. Also, RAP to his uncle's BFF, David Lynch.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
As people might not realize, Mark Frost is Lucas Giolito's uncle, the co-creator of Twin Peaks, the best show in the world. So, okay, well, this has gone on long enough. Please remind people where they can find you.
You can find me. I'm on the Twitter at edhand89, and I'm on Pod by the River, which is a podcast in which me and my friend Hogdale, who is he's kind of like if Peter Griffin was really into baseball and also from Iowa. That's our podcast. We talk a lot of Red Sox. We're pretty it's kind of hard to describe it compared to other podcasts because I don't know if like the White Sox are like this, but Red Sox podcasts, it's literally just trios of guys that look kind of like me, like white dudes with beards
Mhm.
talking Sox. But I'd like to think that we're pretty objective about it. And we try to be entertaining, but yeah, I mean, given if you enjoyed this and you like people that always sound like they have a cold like me, you might enjoy our show. So yeah,
And occasionally I'm on there. So if you
you are
enjoy me,
you're usually on it. I would say like twice a year. Like you're
yeah.
like a biannual guest at this point.
It would be weird if you're listening to this and didn't like me, but
That would be weird.
I
Like what
was
are you doing?
recently uh, chatting with Ed about the last series.
Yeah,
So
we did. That was certainly that did not age well. that
No.
episode. And now I do. What's great is that I will no longer feel bad about bullying you when the White Sox are not playing well. But that's not going to happen for a while because they're about to go on a 10-year run. So yeah.
Looking forward to it. All right. Well, thank you. Best of luck. Happy early Patriots Day. Please go get some sleep.
Thank you.
Bye.